everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Marie here and I'm back today with a 12x12 process video for you. This one is for Lottie Loves Paper. So right from the outset I will tell you this classes as an advertisement and then that gets that out of the way. And I will also tell you that today I am using the fantastic new collection from Chanel called Field Trip. It's an absolutely brilliant collection. It's so much fun. And I'm going with another dinosaur themed layout for this one. So as you can see there, I've cut a load of dinosaur footprints out of a sheet of white textured, I think it's American Crafts cardstock, and I used my Cricut to do that. I just found a couple of footprints and then arranged them on the page so that it looked like they were tracks, a little bit like the paper from Chanel from the collection. It's got a blue background, it's got footprints all over it, so it's a little bit like that. So I'm using, as you can see, I'm using the cardstock that is dotty on one side and then green on the other because I wanted the footprints to be green to match in with that photograph of my son who's wearing the most amazing dinosaur dressing up costume on one of his birthdays. So I don't make you watch all of that, but as you can see I've backed all of the footprints and I have just done them all in the same colour. I'm quite a monochromatic lover. I do like to have lots of things sort of the same colours on my layout. I don't like to include too many different colours, but this photograph is in colour, so it is going to end up being a layout with plenty of different shades and things on there. I bring in some blue to match in with his top and plenty of green to match in with that dinosaur costume. I think this was his 5th birthday, and we bought him this costume which he thought was fab, and he stomped around the house a little while, so that's why the layout in the end has been called Stomp. So what I'm doing right now is just matting my photograph. I am using just some plain white cardstock there. It's A4 cardstock, just to back the photograph. I wanted just a small white border around it. I didn't want it to be directly on the green. I think the white helps it pop a little bit, so just put a very small white border around the outside there, and then I start to look at the other layers that I'm going to put behind. I tend never to mat straight, only ever that first one. If I do a white one I'll do that one straight, but the rest I do tend to do wonky. So I'm just pulling out different papers from the collection. I've got that footprints paper, I've got the triangles paper, and I've also got the green. I do want to use a little bit of that green as well. So I've cut the green down to size. I'm just now cutting this paper with the triangles on. I'm trying to get the bit that's bluey greens without any too many of the other colours on there. So I'm just lining it up. I measure very roughly using the photograph as a guide. I never measure. I'm not a measurer. I know some people do. I know some people like to get rulers out and get them all exactly, the borders exactly the way around. That's not my style at all. I tend to be slightly more sort of fluid than that, and like I say, I often don't mat straight anyway, so it doesn't have to then be exact. So I'm just going to cut now some of this blue to put behind. I'm just making sure I'm happy with where that lines up to, and using my large guillotine for that. I do have 2 sizes of guillotine. I have a big one for when I can't fit it in the small one, and then for the rest of the things I do use that small viscous one. I do find it easier to use on my desk. So I'm just going to start double-sided sticking down now onto the different layers that I've cut. So the first layer is that kind of greeny colour, the same green that I've used to back all of the footprints on the cardstock. And then I'm going to use this triangle paper. Now I do decide in the end, I chop it down a little bit, and then I do decide that I'm going to cut it in half and have it sticking out just a little bit more. I want to see more of that design. And I and ahh for quite a while about this as to whether to just do it wonky, put it on top, put it to one side, and in the end, and then I see I still can't decide what I'm doing. And sometimes it's like that, I think, with scrapbooking, and then sometimes you just have to be brave and cut and do it. And I did it in the end, and I'm really happy with how it's turned out. So I put a little bit, some of it behind that one, and then some of it up at the top, and that also enables me to hide that little tiny bit of orange there that I just didn't want to see. And that looks much better. I'm really happy with that now. And then that one's going to go on top of that footprint paper. which again I'm just going to cut down to size using my little guillotine. I have had lots of trimmers in the past, but I do find the guillotine type for me work best, the best of all I've had. Give me the most control. And I'm just going to position that on there. Again, just slightly wonky. And then all I'm going to do is use some adhesive foam to prop it up. Putting plenty of that on there, because this is the only bit of dimension really on the page. And then I'm going to go ahead and stick a whole load of double-sided sticky on there. And pop that on my layout. I kind of knew as I designed the page on Cricut where my photograph was going to go. And I've already been through the ephemera pack, so just so you know, I have a selection of the papers. I have the paper, the ephemera pack, I have the cardstock stickers, and I have the thickers, the lettering that come in red and blue. And so far this is my second layout with what I had, and I've got tons left, so I know I've got plenty that I can go at. So I'm just playing with the ephemera now. I love these leaves, and I like those two little tags up there. One of them says, I think it says cool on it, and one of them says get smart, and I have to have that here for the snacks one on there. It says, it's a I just think it's such a funny sentiment. That's got to go on there. So I do play with these sentiments for a little while, deciding where they're going to go. Now I also have the sheet of paper that is covered in lots of little pictures. I think it is called Between Classes, and it's the one with lots and lots of different pictures, like little images on, and they're perfect for fussy cutting. So I've taken the dinosaur I'm fussy cutting there, and that little bug that I've just placed above the flower from that sheet. There's some in nearly every colour. There's blue ones, green ones, pink ones, yellow ones, and I've pulled out two that I knew would fit with this layout, because I've already used the green dinosaur from the ephemera pack, so I knew I needed another one there, and I just want him down in that bottom corner. And then I'm just popping in a few more pieces of the ephemera. I kind of wanted to go for a jungly feel. I am well aware that in the photograph my son is still wearing his pyjamas, and we are in our lounge, and he just desperate to put the costume on, so on it went. So yeah, we were kind of, I couldn't coordinate his top, but it works really well. I like the blue. I think it pops. So now I'm just sticking down some of these little, they're like little tickets. I have carefully positioned those on the photograph to hide a couple of things in the background of the photo that I just didn't want to be able to see. And now I'm using some adhesive foam, this is double-sided sticky foam, to give some dimension to those leaves. And then I'm just working out where these bits of ephemera are going to overlap onto the photograph, because I put glue on some of it and then double-sided foam on the other to help it propped up just where it needed. And then I decide I want the dinosaur in front, so this gets a bit complicated now, and I have to try and work out where not to put double-sided foam, because the here for the snacks ephemera piece is already propped up. So I'm just cutting lots of tiny little pieces, just to make sure this dinosaur is propped up properly. And then just peel all those bits off, a bit of glue on the bit that's going to overlap, and then all just lines up perfectly in that corner. And I'm more than happy with that. And then just deciding where that little bug's going to go. He's going to go up there near the little hello sign. And then I just use that last little bit of ephemera down that side. I cut that off the hello label, so I'm just sticking that onto there. And then the last thing I'm going to do is have a little look through my stickers here. That's not quite stuck down yet, so I just give it a little wiggle and move it around slightly. That sticker there says big plans. I liked that one. And then I found another couple of leaves, and I decided to put those just underneath where that little fussy cut bug went. And then it's time for the title. Now, this causes me a whole load of trouble and headaches, and I spend absolutely ages on this. I've left it in the video just because I think it's interesting how many different places I try and make this title fit. I don't want it, I didn't feel like I wanted it overlapping the footprints, but everywhere else I put it, it just doesn't seem to go. So I try it at the bottom, I try it at the top. At the bottom it just looks unbalanced, like it shouldn't be there. And then I try doing it kind of wonky down this, round the dinosaur, and that doesn't work either. And then I try it down here, and it's alright, it's not great. So then I move it again, I'm like, do I put it on the footprints? But then I realise if it's on the footprints you can't actually read what the word says. And then it goes back over there. Now thankfully at no point did I press it down too hard, and I was able to move them around as much as I needed to until I was happy with the positioning. And in the end, interestingly enough, they go back exactly where they started off. And then I just pop an exclamation mark on the end. And in the end, yep, it's just going to have to go in there. I'm happy with it there. The last little thing now that I do, I find another little sticker that I just pop that on that side, and I just find a green pen and I make some tiny little footprints that I'm doodling on, so that there are 3 different types of footprints going round. And I'm going to put another one in here. You'll see them really clearly on some of the close-up photographs, and I just put some more down there. So after a little bit of faffing around, I'm eventually really happy with this. Such a fun layout. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope to see you again on my channel soon, and keep watching for the close-ups.